Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 4 on the General Life Podcast. So, today we're going to talk about what freedom is. Yep, we're going to dive into that right now. First off, let's try and define what freedom is. So, freedom means different things to different people. Doing what you want, such as vote for your favorite politician, work at a job you don't particularly like, but it pays the bills. You know, it's funny because I've worked. I've worked for people, and I've never felt any freedom working for anybody, even though the pay was pretty good. I don't know if you guys actually have the same feeling, but when you leave the job, you feel a lot more free. But man, that freedom is kind of scary because it's very chaotic. Because now you've broken a routine that you've built over months or years. You're so used to waking up every day, and all you're doing is just waking up, brush your teeth, and going to work, and then you clock out and you go home, and it's like that every single day, unless you work on the weekends as well. It's very hard to break that routine. You do it for 5 days, and then you just have 2 days to yourself. But we all know that 2 days is never enough. You come in to work on a Monday and you work for the weekend. Actually, you work your 5 days, and you try to thinking to yourself, you know what, I work for 5 days, but man, the weekend is 5 days from now, and that's all you think about, which is sad, because you should be happy doing what you're doing. You should be happy doing what it is that you're doing for the next 7 days, not for 5 days, and in 2 days you think, yes, now I'm gonna have some fun. You should be sort of having fun every day anyway. So you're free to say what you want, express your beliefs openly, and not care what other people think, regardless of the consequences of your actions. Others understand freedom in a financial context, where people seek to free themselves from debt, minimize their working hours from shitty jobs, and eventually give the middle finger to your company's establishment when you resign. Oh man, don't we all want to do that? We would love to one day just quit our jobs, knowing that we don't need the job anymore, and we just give the biggest middle finger to our companies. But there lies the kicker, though. Let's break it down. Doing what you want. The truth is, you can't. You can't, because there are many things in life you want to do, but you choose not to do them. Not because you don't want to do them, but the way your life is structured, you just can't. If you have to come to work every single day for a paycheck, and you don't want to be there, it's not because you want to be there. You probably don't want to be there, but you have to, because it brings in a paycheck, and you're so used to that paycheck, and you've closed your mind off all other possibilities of what you can do that day. And so you're stuck in a cycle where you have to be there, but you don't want to be there, and you don't think of other ways of trying to support your own lifestyle. I've seen it. I know a lot of wealthy people. I know that they are wealthy because they don't work for anybody. They work for themselves, and they structured their lives where they don't have to work for anybody else, and they can do the things that they want to do. They want to go to a cafe and drink coffee in the middle of the day, or they can go to lunch whenever they want. They can go and work out whenever they want. They can live wherever they want. So it is possible. It is possible to do what you want, but you have to change that mindset. You have to change that mindset of, I don't have to be here. Fuck you. I do what I want, and I have the resources to back up my own lifestyle. So I don't need you, you stupid company. And that's when you can flip the bird, right? Let's move on. Okay, so for example, not wanting to work. Most of us don't want to go to work, but we have to because it brings in an income, and we need to sustain a certain lifestyle. We have rent to pay, we've got bills, we've got food to pay for, we have social events to go to, and all these things require money. Most of us wake up. Most of our waking hours will be dedicated to work for money, which is distracting you from doing the things that you really want to do, such as, I don't know, playing like a musical instrument. Maybe you like playing guitar, piano, violin, you know, walking on an empty beach with your partner and children. I mean, what is more beautiful than that when you have a lot of time to spend with your partner and children and with your kids, because they are the most important things in your life now, isn't it? It's not your work. You know, your work will support a lifestyle, but it should not be your life. It should be part of your life, but it should not be your life. You know, and your partner and your kids, come on, they're your partner and kids. I'd rather spend more time with my partner and kids than at work. Let's be honest. It's the truth. You know, maybe you might get bored of your partner and kids, but you also get bored of work as well. So I'd rather get bored of work than get bored of my partner and kids. I don't know. It is what I think. So yeah, I think it's a worthy goal to strive for more control over our lives, where our jobs are not taking up so much of our working hours in a day. I mean, let's face it, freaking 9 to 5, that's 8 hours of your waking hours. You know, freaking you're only awake 16 hours every day. 8 hours you're dedicating to sleep. So why not spend that time doing the things that you want to do? And if you say, oh, well, I can't do it because I have to go, well, freaking hell, find a way, man. You know, like there has to be a better way than to live 8 hours of your day working for somebody. Maybe try working for yourself, whatever that means. You know, I'm not a life coach. I can't really help you find it. You have to find it yourself. You know, I don't know what you like. Maybe you like playing guitar. Maybe you like running. Maybe you like working out. Maybe you want to be a firefighter. Maybe you want to be a bodybuilder. I mean, that's up to you. You decide what you want to do with your life, right? I'm just saying that working 8 hours per day is not the end all be all. Especially if you're working for somebody else. I mean, why can't you spend the 8 hours working on yourself? Might lead to somewhere. You never know. There's no guarantees in life. The only guarantees in life is probably death. You are gonna die, and then you are gonna pay taxes, and that's about it. There's no guarantees. There's no guarantees you working 8 hours per day for somebody for every day for the rest of your life that they will actually care about you when you die. They probably don't give a shit about you. You know, because you are replaceable. And a company, they're heartless. There's no heart in a company. It's run by people who have too many different agendas, too many selfish goals that they want to achieve in the company. There is no heart. There is no heart in the company. I mean, everyone's goals will be different. I'm not here to dictate how many hours a person should work, but we should all should strive to free up some time for the things that matters in our lives, and it will make us, or like as a whole, in general, happier people in the long run. Right? Let's move on. Now let's move on to say what you want. Oh man, this is easy to say, but it's difficult to do without consequences. You know, in our society, as of right now, it is impossible to say what you want because of the political ramifications. I can't really say that word. Ramifications are so dear. I mean, right now we're living in a society where it's very politically correct. You can't really say anything. Well, you can say anything, but you can't say the things that will offend people. You know, if you accidentally call someone a he, but the person is a transgender, they might really get really offensive and say, no, I'm not a he, I'm a she. Well, fucking, how am I supposed to know that until if I'm talking to you? How am I supposed to know that? And people are very touchy about those things. I mean, very touchy. You know, you have to be very careful of what you say, and you got to pick your words wisely because people can misinterpret and twist what you're saying into something that means absolutely nothing. I mean, and they could twist it in a way where it's absolutely absurd as well. And if you're dumb enough to test it out, you really want to test it out, try this, right? Go to a person in your workplace and call them names. See what happens. I mean, they'll most likely take you to the HR department, report you by telling them their sob story of how you hurt their feelings. how you hurt their precious little feelings, and you'll most likely be fired from your workplace because the HR department does not want the little snowflake to take the company through the legal system for bullying and harassment. I mean, this is fair enough. It's nice to know that companies like to be seen as taking care of the weak and vulnerable people in our society. I mean, freaking social justice, why not? Right? They want to be seen doing the right thing. So the bottom line is your freedom of speech has conditions. You're not exactly free now, are you? You're not free to say what you want. You have freedom of speech, but it has conditions. They should call it freaking condition of speech, not freaking freedom of speech with conditions. So it's absolutely ridiculous. You're free to say what you want as long as it doesn't hurt anyone's feelings, i.e. snowflakes. So you're not exactly free there either. So let's move on to freedom in a financial context. I mean, by all means, I'm in no position to give financial advice to anybody, but I know what financial freedom looks like. I mean, if you see financial freedom, you know what it looks like, right? You see that person just living in a way where they're not stressed at all. I mean, they don't have to answer to anybody. You see those people on the street. You can tell. You can actually tell. They probably don't have bags under their eyes. Under their eyes, they actually they probably have a lot more sleep than we do. They probably eat well. They probably look very healthy. You can see them. You probably don't know the backstory, but you can see what I'm getting at. When you're financially free, you're not afraid of when your next meal is gonna be. I mean, let's move on. Let's talk about debt. I mean, we all have debt, don't we? We all do. Let's face it, we all do. I mean, but debt isn't all bad. A lot of businesses use debt as leverage to acquire assets that help the business grow. I mean that's how businesses do business, man. They use debt. They use debt to leverage, themselves and to also leverage the company to make so they can acquire more equipment, more people, etc., to make the business grow. But it's personal debt that I have a real problem with. Now, we live in a consumer society, right? We consume shit. The majority of our lives are spent just consuming stuff. Let's face it. We eat stuff. We eat fast food. We consume Netflix, internet, cars, clothes, shoes, etc., etc. We consume all this. We don't actually make anything. If you ask yourself an honest question, ask yourself, where you work, do you actually make anything? I mean, are you making, let's say, canned food? Are you making, digging equipment? Are you making cement? Or is your company just selling trinkets or clothes? Ask the other question: are you contributing to the consumer society? Eventually, all of this has to be paid in some way. So, I don't really like the consumer society because we are part of a system where we're encouraging people just to consume and give very little back. And it's tragic. It is tragic. It's extremely easy to fall into the trap of using credit cards to buy shit we don't need, to impress people we don't like or we don't know. I mean, this behavior of impulse buying is really bad in society. It's really, really bad, man. Impulse buying it's horrible. No one ever talks about this, do they? I mean, impulse buying has gotten so ridiculous to the point where people are using buy now, pay later services to get tattoos. Like, what the fuck? I personally know this one bloke who did this. He went into a tattoo convention or some shit like that, and they offered him buy now, pay later service, and he jumped on it. I swear this bloke is funny as fuck. He came into work and he told us what he did, and we gave it to him so bad that he eventually cancelled his appointment. Good on him. Freaking cool heads prevailed. And he used his rational brain to rationalize himself out of that situation. Like, if you're gonna get a tattoo, you have money, get a tattoo, but don't freaking put it on Afterpay. Come on, man. You know who you are. We've all been there, right? At some point in our lives, we've all been there. But lesson learned. I mean, this is not even the worst debt. The worst debt by a country mile is student loans. For this type of loan, you cannot default on. You cannot declare bankruptcy on a student loan. I mean, try it. Maybe in your country you can do it, but in my country you can't do it. You can't default on a student loan. For students with college degrees, I mean, they are struggling to find adequate work to pay off the loans. So, because they were sold bullshit, the bullshit of jobs being in demand when they were 18 or when they were just trying to find their way. After they've done their year 12 HSC, they was sold that lie that, oh man, these jobs in demand, you should do these jobs, when there wasn't at all. I mean, it was bullcrap. If you go and seek, you can't find them, and even if you do find them, they require you to have 2 years minimum of experience. Now, how are you gonna have minimum 2 years of experience when you're unqualified? No one's gonna fucking hire you. It's absolutely absurd. And these are entry level jobs. You need experience for entry level jobs. I'm sorry, but entry level jobs where you don't know shit, and so you take up that position to learn. So because and some of these employers, they're actually putting this shit in the ads. It's like, this is a entry level job, but you need experience. Like, get the fuck out of here, you dumbass. Are you fucking serious? I mean, it boggles the mind. It actually drives me insane just thinking about it. Just thinking about it makes me absolutely mad that people have the audacity to put that in ads. I mean, how deflating would it be for a graduate who just got out of college, or university, and he sees an ad like that? He or she sees an ad like that, and he's thinking to himself, "Oh my God, they're all doing this." An entry job, and you need 2 or 3 years experience in the industry. That's absolutely ridiculous. Where are you gonna get that freaking? Where on earth are you gonna get that experience from? What? Working for free? Internships? I'm sorry, but no one works for free. We're not slaves. And if you take those internships and they don't pay you anything, isn't that illegal? Isn't what they're doing fucking illegal? And then they promise that once you finish this this internship, that we'll hire you. Is it on paper? Is it a legal document? No. Some of these college students are being taken advantage of, and it's tragic. It should be against the law, right? I mean, how can people be financially free when they were sold lies and locked into a type of debt from which it would take 20 to 30 years to pay off? And it will take that long. Some people will try to pay it off quickly, but man, they can't live, because most of their pay will be dedicated to paying student loans, and it's absolute tragedy. The question we all have to ask is, do we have a debt problem? And if yes, what steps can we take to re-educate ourselves about debt, and how can we use to make our lives better? Because if business people can do it, why can't we? Right? If business people have learned how to use debt and take advantage of debt, why can't we learn that? I mean, we have Google. We can Google it up and find it ourselves. It's not as if this information you gotta pay for. You can Google it up. We should all learn about debt. I mean, debt is not all good and bad. It depends on the person as well, and the education level. If they're very educated on debt, they can probably use debt to their advantage pretty easily. But for people who are not educated about debt and they use it as a credit card, nah, that's no good. That is no good. But hey, once you pay off $10,000 worth of credit card debt, you reckon you're gonna get into debt again? I don't think so. So there's a freaking lesson. There's a lesson to be learned there as well. I mean, let's move on. Now, I know a lot of people in my life who from the outside look very, very well off, and so I asked some of them, how did they achieve their financial freedom? What they told me was they were earning a modest income from a job with minimal debt, which sounds absolutely great. Absolutely great. I mean, good on them. But I accidentally asked a question which got me thinking even more, and that question was, what if you lose your job and can't find another one? Oh. Well, it doesn't take a financial advisor to tell you that you're screwed. If you lose your job, you're pretty much screwed. Because once the income stops, you will be digging through your savings until there's nothing left. Now that's assuming that you can't find a job which is equivalent to what you were doing before. I mean, you can downgrade, you can actually do like a medial job, but at least the income is coming in. But a lot of people don't want to do that. I mean, if you worked all your life as a manager, why would you want to work as a labor hand? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. We've been sold that lie. We've been brainwashed to think that we should go up and up and up and should not step back. You know, our ego will not let it happen. That's the problem. Our egos will not let that happen. If you've been a manager all your life and now you have to work as a deckhand or some shit like that, ain't gonna fly. I mean, a lot of people are not very prideful and they can make that transition down and then make it back up. But a lot of people, they don't want to do that. They want to go up. They don't want to humble themselves and go down. Their ego will not let it happen. They want to go up. They either want to do something which is the same position, or going up. And in a way, good on them. But in the environment that we're in right now, if you lose your job, you won't find a equivalent. It's very hard to find a equivalent. And even if you do, they're only paying you a little bit more, and you got to work a little bit harder. So it's the market. It balances itself out. Now let's talk about job security. Oh my god, freaking job security. How do I relate this in to freedom, actual freedom? Here's the thing. Let me explain. Well, job security is a perfect example of oxymoron, because this economy of ours, there's nothing secure about it. You may have a job, but it's not secure. Let me ask you this: you think you have job security? All right then. Do you get full-time shifts lately? If you're a casual, no. Does that sound secure to you? You know, if you're working 5 days as a casual, and then your manager or supervisor comes up to you and say, "Look, man, we can't have you working 5 days. We need to cut you back to 4." Like, yeah, sweet. But what's gonna stop them from cutting you from 4 to 3 shifts per week, or to 2 shifts per week? And the answer is nothing. You can't stop them. If they plan to cut your shifts, they gotta cut your shifts. There is no security. There's no security in that job, because it's all based on economics. If no one is buying anything, or the demand is low, there's no need for you to be there. So basically, they gotta cut your shifts. You know, even if you're a full-time worker with all the benefits, right? There's no security there either, because they can easily sack you and pay you out. Don't think that, I'm a full-time worker that they can't sack me. Oh yeah, they can sack you. If they want to get rid of you, they'll fucking get rid of you. Right? Because the business is making millions of dollars. If they have to pay you out a couple of thousand, man, that's nothing to them. So when they say, we're gonna have a hard time sacking you, no, they don't. No, they won't. If they want to get rid of you, they'll get rid of you. And besides, job security is a fucking illusion, because everyone is replaceable in this economy right now through technology and innovation. Because in the future, you might get replaced by a robot. You know, a robot is stronger. They are you can fix them. They don't get injured. They can operate fucking for God knows how long. You can run a machine maxed out for probably for 24 hours, and then you just turn it off to do some maintenance, and then you turn it back on again. You know, they don't cost much. You know, you don't have to pay them compensation when they get or when they break down. But for a person, if they get injured, you gotta fucking take care of them. You know, the workplace can't just not take care of you if you get injured. So in the future, you might get replaced. You might not even get replaced by a robot. You might just get replaced by someone else who is basically younger than you, younger than you, faster than you. I mean, more efficient than you, cheaper than you. You know, they might bring in someone else who's willing to work that job at a much cheaper rate. I mean, we are all replaceable. We are all replaceable. And here's the thing. The question you got to ask yourself is, are you improving your skills on a daily basis? because that's the only way for you to be secure. The only way to be secure in your job is that you're constantly learning and growing as a person in your workplace, because you are more valuable if you're consistently learning something. You know, you're adding more value to the company than than anybody else. You know, you're not being a burden to them. So the question is, are you improving yourself? You know, are your skills being improved on a consistent basis? If not, then you will eventually be replaced by someone who's a lot better, you know, who can work faster, more efficient, and basically work cheaper than, you know, they can pay that person cheaper than you. I mean, it sucks, but it's the economy right now, man. There's not many jobs out there which are secure, because why should they? There's more workers out there than actual work. Right? We are all replaceable. You know, there's no freedom in that. You know, there's no freedom in thinking that this is, you know, job security exists. It doesn't. It doesn't. Because if job security is a true thing, then how come most of us don't take breaks? We don't take 1 day off or 2 days off, because we fear that our dumbass supervisors will freaking cut our shifts. I mean, is this what you want? After years of working for a company, you know, with working with bad supervisors, impersonal bureaucracy, underemployment, working for the man, only to discover that you are expendable. I mean, wouldn't it be better to be financially free on your own terms by doing by doing the things that fulfills you? I mean, how much better would it be to be in total control of your financial situation instead of letting these corporate cocksuckers who don't give a shit about you and let them dictate what you can and can't do from 9 to 5 each day? The answer is very clear. So how do we achieve freedom in our lives? I mean, it starts with discipline. Right? Discipline. What is discipline? My God. Discipline is... Let me explain. I mean, discipline is a precursor to freedom. I mean, if you want to be free, you have to be disciplined in everything that you do. And I mean everything. You have to make sure that everything that you do is very deliberate, dedicated, and repetitious. You know, you have to do it over and over and over and over again until it becomes a habit. You know, I mean, through actions we build the knowledge needed to achieve a goal or to master a skill. I mean, let me give you a very good example. Let's say a young child. Let's use a young child. No, don't call docs. For fuck's sake, don't call docs. Just hear me out. I mean, a young child is full of potential. For a child is like a sponge. You know, they take in their environment very quickly. For their brain is still growing and extremely malleable. I mean, these kids, they learn, man. I mean, go back to your own childhood. I mean, how fast did you learn? Did you learn a lot faster back then than now? I mean, there's a reason for that. I mean, the attitude for learning is just insatiable. They want to learn everything all at once. But a child's learning is unfocused and is very chaotic, because they want to learn everything. They want to take in everything. They want to freaking touch flowers. They want to touch a bee. They want to freaking play with ants. They want to play with dogs. They want to do everything all at once. I mean, that's the beauty of being a child, man. Because you're free to take in your environment. You're free to take it all in all at once. And as a kid, you probably loved it. But here's the thing: it's unfocused. It's very chaotic. That's why parents and teachers are there. And that's why we have parents and teachers to teach us and guide the young child in a certain way, so that the child can learn the needed skills necessary to operate in the real world. You see, the child is taught how to crawl, how to walk, how to talk, how to read, to do math, etc., throughout the child's life. You know, so basically, what you're trying to do is, as a parent or as a teacher, the child's attention and learning capabilities are very broad. You know, it's everywhere. But what parents and teachers do is you focus that learning capacity. You're trying to focus it, you know, because without the focus, it's very chaotic, and the child might learn different things, but they might not learn the things that they need to, you know, to be effective in the future. Let me explain. So throughout the child's life, their attention is focused in a way where later in their teenage years, and then their adult years, they now have the freedom to expand their potential in any direction that they want. So basically, it's like an hourglass. Think of an hourglass, right? It's very broad at the very top, and then at the very middle, it's focused. That is where the parents and the teachers and society comes in. I'm not saying that society is bad. I'm sure they teach you a lot of garbage, but in a way, what they teach you to do is to focus, right? You need to learn these skills to be effective. You need to learn how to read and write. That's the crux of school, really. Honestly, throughout my primary years, all I've learned was how to read and write and do math. The rest is just arbitrary. Like the rest is just it's just playing around, playing with your mates. And so is high school. High school, man, they broaden out like the subjects when you're in your sophomore year or in junior years or in year 7, because I'm in Australia, so we start high school in year 7 when you're around 11, 12 years old, around there. So when you start high school, your subjects are very broad. I mean, you learn different things. You're learning how to cook. You're learning woodwork. You're learning metalwork. You're learning electronics. You're learning math, English, science. So what they try to do is they try to broaden your horizon, right? But as you progress through high school, your interests are being narrowed. It gets narrowed again. That's what the school system does. It broadens your horizons at the beginning, and then as you reach your final years, what happens is you narrow your interests. That's why most of us we narrow our interests to science, to history, to metalwork or electronics or something like that. I mean, so that's where the freedom comes from. You have to be disciplined. You have to dedicate a part of your life to learn a certain skill before you can actually expand and learn new things. And so I digress. So now that they have narrowed their focus, the child will now is free to expand their potential in any direction that they want to go. But you see, in order to be free, you have to in order to be free to do whatever it is that you want, we all need guidance in some way. Like I said, we need teachers, we need our parents for the library of knowledge. Think of it as a learning as a library. You guys know how big a library is. It's extremely large. You can't learn everything in a lifetime, so you have to be very selective of where you want to go. That's where freedom is. We can also start to change by setting up our lives from this day onwards to be more disciplined in everything that we do. We can start by thinking of doing things outside of work. I mean that's one way to take control of your own life, where you're doing activities, like other activities such as your side hustles, your hobbies. I mean, if you're a painter, if you like to paint, go paint for half an hour. I mean, that's taking that is taking control back. Because if you're working 8 hours for some company, you want some of that hours back, don't you? You want to have time for yourself now, because look, I already gave my 8 hours. That is non-negotiable, and I gave my 8 hours. Now fuck you, I'm gonna do what I want. That is taking control back. For the more we disengage with our workplace, it leaves us more time to engage with things that matters in our lives. For there is no meaning in working for a hardest corporation. I mean, face it. Be honest with yourself. You're adding You're adding value to the company, but you're not adding value to yourself. You're not learning anything. You're not learning any new skills. You're talking to the same people every day. That too. I mean, you pretty much see the same people every day, and you're not meeting new people, and it sucks. We should meet new people every day, or try to. We at least try and talk to new people every month, I guess. I mean, if it's possible, try to meet someone every month. That could be useful. Shit, I should do it myself. Pretty good advice. I mean, even if you love love to work there, the feeling is not mutual. I mean, you sure you love to work there, but other people don't like working there. There's some people who like working there too. You all of us have different agendas. You never know where this will lead. You might be more productive. You might be happier. You might be more fulfilled working on your side hustle because it adds more meaning to your life. And that's the main point of being free, is you're doing things that has meaning. You wake up every day, you think to yourself, you know what? Oh, sure. I'm gonna work for 8 hours for a company that I don't give a shit about. But after I finish work, I can do the things that I want. And the things that you do after work, it should mean something to you. It should have some sort of meaning. It's not just turning on Netflix and then watching House of Cards. I mean, honestly, how's that gonna add any meaning to your life? I'm sure you're stressed out and shit, but and you want to unwind, but keep it to a minimal. Keep it to a minimal, and do the things that fulfills you. I mean, if you like painting, go for it. If you like playing music, go for it. If you like rapping, go for it. If you like writing music, produce shit, do that. I mean, do that. I mean, yeah. I mean, the added benefit of disengaging with your current workplace is you're free to express your views more freely, because you're less worried about the consequences. And if your circumstances permit you to leave your current workplace altogether, then you're free to express your views in any way that you want, and you're no longer afraid of offending snowflakes. I mean, that's the other benefit of disengaging with your own workplace, because in your workplace you can't say what you want. You're not free, man. I mean, freedom of speech is so underrated, because you don't know that you've lost it. You don't know that you've had freedom of speech until you lost it. You have to watch everything that you say. I mean, honestly, if you're hanging around with people every day, you're bound to say some stupid things. But a lot of people get offended, and it sucks. It sucks that it has to be that way. But the more you disengage with your own workplace, you're more free to say what you want. Because in the workplace, man, you're working with thousands of people, like hundreds of people, and not all of them will agree with you. Most of them will say, "Oh, I can say whatever I want." But man, if you say whatever you want, they get offended. It sucks. It sucks that it has to be this way, but it's the world that we live in right now. Okay, the debt problem. I mean, honestly, the debt problem is a very hard problem to solve, because the debt problem is it's an inner struggle, for all of us, because we've all been hardwired for a while now to get instant gratification in our lives, because but it's a problem that we're all capable of overcoming. I mean, it's an addiction. Overcoming the addiction to debt, it's a spiritual battle. It's somewhere. It's inside you. For the words that you use will determine the outcome. If you think that debt is bad, or debt is, debt is good, then those words become flesh. So if you have a bad connotation to debt, you use it in a bad way. You probably just use debt to buy things that you don't need right now, and then later you gotta pay for it. I mean, it's all about the internal dialogue that you have with yourself. So ask yourself this question before you make that purchase: Will this create prosperity or poverty in my life? Boom. Is buying that game gonna help me, or is it gonna make me more poor? Is it gonna make me rich? Like you know what I mean, right? Is that game gonna improve my life, or is it gonna be a detriment to my life? Is it gonna, because if it's not adding value, it's taking value away, right? Like, you ask yourself, is buying that car gonna bring me prosperity, or a car is a liability, because a car, it breaks down, you gotta fill it up with petrol, you gotta pay insurance, you gotta pay registration. But man, I mean, businesses use a car for to go places, and then they just write off as tax deductions. So to them, it's not a liability. To them, a car is an asset. it's how you think. It's how you think as well. So what do we do about job security? I say there's nothing wrong with a job if it fulfills you, but please don't lie to yourself. Don't fool yourself by saying that you like the job because it pays you well. Come on, man. Money is a means to an end. It's not an end in itself. Money doesn't make you happy. It makes you happy for that 5 minutes when the paycheck comes in, but after 5 minutes, you think it's just shit, and now I've got to freaking deduct all my expenses from it, and you probably end up with only $100 for the next week. So money does not bring you happiness, because happiness comes from the journey. It's not the destination. It's the things that you do along the way that makes you happy. It's not the destination. I mean, if you want to listen to me rant about happiness, it's in the last episode. Go back to my YouTube channel and click what is happiness if you haven't watched it. So you will not find freedom from the outside world. The world wants to control you, manipulate you into doing things that means nothing in the grand scale of things. Yeah, sure, you're packing clothing. Like, so what, man? Like, you send it off to the next person. You're never gonna see that person. The person will never say thank you. Hell, even the company that you're working for will not say thank you for packing that shit. You will never find happiness on the outside. True freedom comes from within us all. It comes from inside. You have to decide what freedom is to us, and then manifest it. For everybody else to see. We don't know what true happiness is. We don't know what true freedom is. I don't know what makes you happy or what makes you free. You have to determine that for yourself. I mean, show me. Take it from the inside and bring it out and show me what happiness is. We are free when we see the world for what it is. We see the truth, and that's where I think the real like the real freedom is you take the world for what it is, and you don't bullshit yourself. You don't lie to yourself. So let me read you a quote by Gloria Steinem. Steinem. Yeah, Gloria Steinem. The truth will set you free, but it will piss you off first. Oh man, or some shit like that. Actually, the quote is, "The truth will set you free, but first it will piss you off." And you know what? It's the truth. It's actually the truth, because to be free, you have to face the world first. You have to see the world for what it is. You probably will be very angry at the world because you find out that the world is enslaving you in the most sneakiest ways. But the moment you see the truth, that's when you're free.